Welcome to Storytime. Subscribe for more stories. The ferry into the Eerie forest. People in town used to say the forest on the far side of the lake didn't like visitors. Not that it was haunted, nobody ever said that directly. They just said nature had a way of remembering things, and it never forgot when someone overstayed. I didn't believe stories like that. I just thought they were old local legends meant to keep kids from sneaking off at night. So, when I heard there was an old ferry captain willing to take people across just once a month, I saw it as an adventure. A night trip, fresh content, something different. I should have listened, because the first rule about the Eerie forest isn't that you shouldn't go. It's that if you do, you never come back the same. They say the lake once had an island full of glowing lights that whispered people to sleep. Most folks forgot about it. The captain never did. That's why, years later, when people begged him to cross toward the opposite shore, he warned them. The island was only the beginning. The forest remembers more. The crossing. The ferry wasn't really a ferry, more like an old rusted barge that had somehow outlived its purpose. When I climbed on board, the wooden boards creaked under my feet like they were sighing. The captain didn't say hi. He only nodded once, motioning for me to sit. He was older, with tired eyes and hands that never stopped trembling. Not like he was scared. More like he remembered something he didn't want to remember again. We pushed off from the dock, the lake swallowing the sound of the motor. Fog rolled over the water, thick and slow, like it had been waiting. Halfway across, the captain finally spoke. "Whatever you hear," he said, eyes never leaving the fog ahead, "don't answer it." I almost laughed. "Like wolves? Or..." He shook his head sharply. "Voices." I wanted to ask what he meant, but the fog swallowed my words. The air grew colder, quieter, like sound itself didn't want to disturb the lake. Then I heard it. My name. Soft, familiar. "Hey, over here." It sounded like my best friend. But my friend wasn't there. I remembered what the captain said, swallowed hard, and stayed silent. The voice changed confused, then annoyed. "Why aren't you answering?" The captain tightened his grip on the wheel. "They copy people you trust," he said quietly. "They learn your voice from your memories. They only need one word from you. Just one." I stared at the fog ahead, and for the first time I realized something terrifying. We weren't moving anymore. The ferry engine hummed, but the water beneath us was still. Like something underneath was holding us in place. Then the voices started overlapping. My mom calling me, my own voice whispering, my teacher, my neighbor, people I barely remembered, all repeating my name, all begging, all angry when I stayed silent. The captain slammed the throttle forward and the ferry jolted. The boat lurched, then broke free like something finally let go. The voices vanished, and the forest came into view. The forest. No birds, no insects, no wind. Just trees, tall black silhouettes stretching up like ribs. The dock on the far side was broken, but the captain steadied the ferry just long enough for me to step off. He didn't tie the rope. He didn't cut the engine. He just said one thing. "If the trees start moving, leave." Then he crossed himself and drifted back into the fog. I stood alone at the edge of the Eerie forest, and I walked in. At first it felt normal, just quiet. Too quiet. The deeper I went, the more wrong everything felt. The ground had no fallen leaves, no twigs, no crunching sound. Just soft earth. Like the forest swallowed anything that hit the ground. Soon, I noticed something else. Every tree leaned slightly inward, like they were listening. I kept my camera rolling, narrating quietly, trying to sound brave. Then the trees behind me shifted. Not loudly, not dramatically. More like they took a single step. I blinked. They were closer. The captain's warning echoed in my head. Leave. But curiosity tugged harder. I kept going. That's when I found the trail. Not a path, a straight line carved perfectly through the trees, unnaturally clean, stretching deeper into the darkness. At the end was something standing perfectly still. A shape, human-sized, facing me. I lifted my flashlight. It was a tree. Sort of. A small tree, twisted and pale with something hanging from its branches. Not fruit. Names. Carved, fresh, dozens of them. And one of them was mine. The bark beneath it was peeled and raw, like the tree had only just taken it. I stepped back. Behind me, the forest exhaled. Branches rustled, despite there being no wind. The path behind me was gone. The trees had shifted again taller, closer, forming a wall. Like they were guiding me forward, or trapping me. The realization. The voices returned, but softer this time. Distant. Not calling my name. Whispering. Laughing. As I walked, I noticed the forest floor rising, sloping upward. Then I saw them. Roots. Not buried. Exposed. Twisted around bones. Leg bones, arm bones, ribs. Not decayed, held in place. Like the trees had grown around them. Suddenly, everything made sense. This forest didn't hide bodies. It kept them. It remembered them. Every person who answered the voices, every person who ignored the captain, became part of it. That's why there were no leaves on the ground. Nothing ever left. My breath shook. I turned to run, and the trees moved fast this time, closing in, their trunks tightening around me like a narrowing hallway. The whispers weren't outside anymore. They were inside my head. Just say something. Just one word. It's easier. My name scratched itself into another tree ahead of me, carving deeper like something was preparing a space. I stopped. I closed my eyes. And I didn't speak. For a long time. Minutes, maybe hours. I just stood there and refused. Eventually the whispers faded. The trees loosened, and the path opened. I ran, not looking back until I burst out of the forest and stumbled onto the shore. The ferry was waiting. The captain didn't look surprised. He didn't ask questions. As the boat carried me back across the lake, the fog thinned, the air warmed, and the normal sounds of life slowly returned. Just as the dock came into view, the captain spoke again softly. "The forest doesn't chase people," he said. "It invites them." I finally looked at him. "What happens if someone answers?" He stared ahead. "They stop being visitors." I thought that was the end. But last night, I found something outside my window. A single leaf. Perfectly still. With my name carved into it. And I swear, the trees across the street, they look a little closer than they were before.